Students, now we will learn the Second Anglo-Maratha War. So in the Second Anglo-Maratha War, what is the background? Let's look at it. The differences came up between the chieftains of Marathas. Basically, there were different families in the Maratha kingdom, like the Scindias, the Peshwa, the Holkar, and so on. They had differences among them. Particularly, Yashwant Rao of Holkar family opposed Daulat Rao of Scindia family and the Peshwa Balaji Rao II. So on one side we have Yashwant Rao from the Holkar family, on the other side we have Daulat Rao and the Peshwa. So because they had this difference of opinion, they were fighting amongst themselves. British was looking for an opportunity to interfere in their internal matter. They got this opportunity when the Peshwa accepted the policy of subsidiary alliance by signing the Treaty of Bessin. And then what happened, students? A lot of wars took place, and because the Peshwa accepted subsidiary alliance, all the other families like the Holkars and many more, they all united and they fought against the Peshwa who had the British support. But they were defeated. But though the Marathas were defeated, the British suffered a heavy financial loss because of this war. The war turned out to be very expensive. So the British sent Wellesley back to England and peace prevailed in the region. Now let's look at the Second Anglo-Maratha War in detail. The differences among the Maratha chieftains was the reason for this war. There was an enmity between Yashwant Rao of Holkar family and Daulat Rao of Scindia family along with Peshwa Balaji Rao II. In 1802, the army of Holkar defeated the army of Scindia and the Peshwa. So the Peshwa went to the British and he asked for help. Lord Wellesley got an opportunity now to interfere in the internal matters of the Marathas. The Peshwa entered the subsidiary alliance system by accepting the Treaty of Bessin. Other Maratha families like Holkar, Gwalior and Bhosle formed an alliance opposing this treaty. Lord Wellesley defeated the armies of various Maratha families from 1803 to 1805. But this battle, thriftiness, increased the financial burden on the company. On being criticized for this policy, Lord Wellesley resigned from his post and he returned to England. This resulted in peace in the region. I hope you all know all the events that took place both in the First Anglo-Maratha War and the Second Anglo-Maratha War. Now let's study about the Third Anglo-Maratha War. Peshwa Balaji Rao II had accepted the subsidiary alliance by the Treaty of Bessin and he had fought the other Maratha kings through the Second Anglo-Maratha War. But they were not happy with the subsidiary alliance. He wanted to free himself from the clutches of the British. So what did he do? So now he attacked the Poona presidency of the British. Now do you think the British will keep quiet? No, it will find, of course it will give an answer. Let's look at what happened in the Third Anglo-Maratha War given the background. The Maratha families tried their best to protect their independence and honor. Even the Peshwa attempted to free himself from the clutches of the company. The Peshwa attacked the British residency in Poona and burnt it down. Appa Sahib of Nagpur and Malhar Rao Holkar rebelled against the British, but they were suppressed ruthlessly. Finally, Peshwa Bajirao II fought against the British at Koregaon and Ashti and he later surrendered. The British abolished, they removed the post of Peshwa itself and granted pension to Bajirao II. They installed Pratapa Simha, the descendant of Shivaji, as the ruler of Satara, a minuscule, a very small state, and named him as the traditional leader of the Marathas, and they suppressed all the Maratha resistance that they got. So in this way, through 3 Anglo-Maratha wars, the British consolidated or got their empire together. The British completed their agenda of ruling the entire India from 1818 to 1857. They occupied the major states like Sindh, Awadh and many other smaller states. Now students, we come to the Anglo-Sikh Wars. So there was a political anarchy. What is the meaning of anarchy? A state of no rule, where we don't know who the ruler is, how the kingdom must be ruled. Why was there a state of political anarchy? Because the Sikh king Ranjit Singh, he died. He had made a friendship treaty with the British, and after he died there was a lot of anarchy in the Punjab kingdom. So the British attempted now to invade Punjab, even though it was in violation of the friendship pact that they had with the erstwhile king, King Ranjit Singh. In December 1845, finally a war broke out between the British and the Punjab. Sensing the danger from outside, all the Indians in Punjab, Hindus, Sikhs and Muslims, they got together to defeat the British. But do you think they succeeded? No, they had to accept defeat due to a few leaders who were traitors or who betrayed or cheated on them. They signed a very humiliating agreement called the Lahore Agreement in 1846. With this, the British resident, like during subsidiary alliance they let a British resident remain in the kingdom, this British resident became the de facto ruler of Punjab. What is the meaning of de facto ruler? Meaning the main ruler. In the name they kept the Punjab king, but in actual decisions the whole power was with the British resident. It's like the Punjab king only had to sign the documents and listen to what he had to say, what the British resident had to say. So the main power, the de facto power, came to the British resident by the humiliating Lahore Agreement. Like this, Punjab also became a dependent state of the East India Company. So now if you notice, British has almost occupied entire India. Only the Mysore kingdom is left. The Sikh opposed the attempts by the British to rule the Punjab directly. The opposition were led by Chattar Singh Atariwala in Lahore and Mool Raj in Multan. Again the people of Punjab were defeated. Finally Lord Dalhousie merged the state of Punjab with the British Empire. Now students, this brings us to the end of the Anglo-Sikh War. Now let's learn about Dalhousie's policy of doctrine of lapse. It is very simple. Dalhousie came up with this very unique policy. If an Indian king or queen dies without a natural heir, if they have an adopted child, then the kingdom won't be given to the adopted child. The kingdom goes to the English East India Company or the British. This was the policy. Dalhousie arrived in India as Governor General. Remember, Wellesley went. After Wellesley went, Dalhousie came in 1848. And he wanted to integrate the leftover Indian princely states with the British Empire. He adopted doctrine of lapse policy, whereby the adopted children of the Indian kings were refused of their right to the throne. According to this policy, if any Indian ruler dies without children, their adopted children had no legal right over the throne. And such states get merged with the British Empire. Princely states like Satara, Nagpur, Sambhalpur, Udaipur, Jhansi, Jaipur came under this policy. If you notice, this is Jhansi Rani's adopted heir. He was not given the right to ascend to the throne. So this was also one of the main causes for the first war of Indian independence, one of your successive chapters. As the Governor General knew the conditions of these states, he used this policy as a political weapon. With the severe implementation of this policy, not only the princely states, even ordinary people who were sympathetic to these kings, they started rebelling against the company. Their love for the kings and sense of loyalty fueled a rebellion further. This resulted in the Sepoy Mutiny of 1857, also known as the First War of Indian Independence. So this brings us to the end of the chapter. Now let's do the backside questions on page 16. Question 1. Explain the reasons for the first Anglo-Maratha war. Answer. Shah Alam II gave Kora and Allahabad to Marathas, which he had earlier given them to the British. After death of Madhav Rao, his brother Narayana Rao came to power, but he was murdered by his uncle Raghoba. Marathas appointed Madhav Rao II as Peshwa, so Raghoba was upset with these developments and received support from British. By the time Marathas were opposed British, thus the first Anglo-Maratha war was fought in the year 1775. Question 2. What were the conditions under subsidiary alliance? Explain. Subsidiary alliance was introduced by Lord Wellesley in the year 1798. This was basically a military protection agreement between the company and the Indian state. The conditions were as follows. You should learn any three. The Indian king had to keep the British army in his kingdom. The concerned state had to bear the expense of the army and the wages of the soldiers. The king has to have a British resident in his court. The king could not appoint any other European without British permission. In order to enter any agreement with any Indian government, the governor's permission was compulsory. In return of all these services, the company would offer protection to the state from any aggression, both internal and external. Explain the third Anglo-Maratha war. First, causes. The Maratha families tried their best to protect their independence and honor. Peshwa attempted to free himself from the clutches of the British. The Peshwa then, in the course of the war, the Peshwa attacked the British residency in Pune. Appa Sahib and Malhar Rao were opposing the British. Finally, Peshwa Bajirao II fought against the British at Koregaon and Asthi. What was the result? Bajirao II surrendered to British. The British abolished the Peshwa post. The British granted a pension to Bajirao II. They installed Pratapa Simha and named him as the traditional leader of Marathas. They suppressed all the resistance from the Marathas. Question 4. How did the doctrine of lapse support the expansion of the British Empire in India? Dalhousie adopted doctrine of lapse policy, whereby the adopted children of Indian kings were refused of their right to the throne. According to this policy, if any Indian ruler dies without children, the adopted children had no legal right over the throne, and such state gets merged with the British Empire. Princely states like Satara, Nagpur, Sambhalpur, Udaipur, Jhansi, Jaipur came under this policy. As the Governor General knew the conditions of these states, he used this policy as a political weapon. Question 5. Which were the states that came under the doctrine of lapse policy? Satara, Nagpur, Udaipur, Sambhalpur, Jhansi, Jaipur, etc. So students, this brings us to the end of the chapter, the extension of British rule in India. If you find learning the course of the events difficult, watch it like a story, recollect it like a story, it will be easier. You should learn the background, then the course of the war, and most important, always from the exam point of view, is the results of the war. Okay students, practice writing all the question answers. Also practice the objective type questions. See you until next class. Bye.